Paul in Boston, Lincolnshire, says, I've got a stammer that's enhanced in stressful situations. I tried voice stress software for fun a few years ago, and as the session wore on, every second word alarmed up as untrue. And now I just keep quiet, and I only use monosyllabic answers, especially when I'm talking to the authorities. Peter in Andalusia says, if I knew they were monitoring, I would write to them instead. That would wreck their lie detection system. Quite frankly, it's meaningless. People don't have much faith in it. Eric emails, this sounds like the police state the Labour government was heading for is alive and well with the condemns. The use of private debt collecting companies is also very suspect, as some of these use bullying, threats and harassment to extract payment. And one more from John, who says lie detectors are not used in courts because they are not reliable. So what is the point of them? It's John. Ayton has been in touch. He says, could your earlier guest explain why I should not pay my plumber, or anyone else for that matter, in cash? Is that illegal now? Talking about plumbers, some plumbers avoiding tax. Not you, I'm sure, if you're a plumber. John Ashby in Chester says, a friend of mine who's in the police said if you inflict pain on yourself when you're talking into the lie detector, they will not be able to tell if you're telling the truth or not, because the pain interferes with what's happening in your body and makes any reading invalid. So if you just put a drawing pin under your toe, for example, that muddles up the results. So next time you call an insurance company, just a drawing pin in your shoe, they can't tell. John Moncrief in Wykencroft in Coventry, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jeremy.
So you think they should go after these tax evaders?
Oh, definitely. I mean, in my case, the tax evaders are actually even maybe worse criminals than like some of the benefit cheats. I mean, benefit cheats maybe stay in a modest house and they are doing illegal things, but if you go after the tax evaders, they've actually got very nice houses, 2, 3 cars, houses abroad, millions of pounds in offshore accounts, and they are definitely avoiding paying tax, and so is some of the big corporate companies in this country.
So they are scamming on a much bigger scale, you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, say, I say, right, so we all my friends over there is a better class of thief.
What do you think about the idea of going for those who earn more than $150,000 a year?
I would actually drop that figure.
Drop it.
Because I know people who maybe make £60,000, £70,000 a year who are self-employed, and I know they are doing a big fiddle.
But how are they doing that then?
Simple, because the jobs they work in, they get paid cash, and they just don't put it all through the books, and they've got nice accountants, and they've got a lawyer who'll help them do the fiddling.
So if the tax inspectors come round, they say, what were you doing every Monday this month? And they just say, well, I wasn't working. Is that what they do?
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, anybody who gets paid cash is very easy for them. If they're in a job where they don't have to worry about buying equipment to do it, like a plumber, he has to have a certain amount of outlay to fix a job. But if you're, say, a hairdresser or a taxi driver, things like that, who get paid cash, you can easily fiddle the books.
Thank you, John.
I've known that for years.
Cheers, John. Thanks a lot. Nice to talk to you. Martin in Essex has texted, if these lie detectors are completely accurate, why don't we use them in court? It would save millions in long-running court cases. Also, people saying you should use them on MPs, actually, as well. Mandy Evans in Market Drayton, Shropshire. Mandy says, I think it's a great idea to use these lie detectors because I do not tell lies. We tried to set ourselves up as a limited company. We weren't allowed because we're sole traders. We get hammered for tax, and there are millionaires out there who've set up as limited companies. That's the biggest tax evasion method. Mick Meacham in Nottingham, good afternoon.
Hello, Jeremy.
What do you think?
I'm annoyed.
Tell us why. You're an electrician.
I'm a self-employed electrician now. I know the cash in hand thing goes on. I'm not going to deny that. But they're just pinpointing people like me who, at the moment, are finding it hard with the recession anyway. The tax officers are not prepared to help you in the slightest. I've had my issues with them as well. And now they're going to say to me, they're going to lie detect me. When they speak to me, they're going to lie detect me to see if I'm declaring everything. I do all my books. I do them regularly. I hand them in. I pay my taxes. And they're still pinpointing me.
Well, that's because, I guess it's because of that cash-in-hand culture. They're very suspicious, aren't they?
Well, occasionally they are, yeah. But, I mean, so what happens when you do a car boot? You do a car boot, you make £100 off it. Do you pay the tax man for it? No.
You mean you get some things to sell and you make a bit of money. You wouldn't pay tax on that?
That's right.
Well, do you ever does a customer ever say to you, look, let's leave out VAT, I'll pay you cash, and you just don't have it on the books?
I can't really say anything about that, can I?
We've got the lie detector on this end.
No.
Thanks, Mick.
All right, thank you.
The machine's jumping around. Jan in Wellingborough text, does voice recognition take into account that your voice pitch and attitude depends on how long you've been waiting on the phone? Good question. John is in Cheshire. The flaw in this lie detection system is that it's not 100% perfect, and people get stressed just talking to the taxman even when they're innocent. And one more, good question actually, bringing up the rear here. Hanel Martila asks, is this legal to subject people to a lie detector test without their knowledge? It's already happening with insurance companies, so it must be legal.